All right, Firesiders, today we are going to be tackling the fast fold screen. So, our fast fold screens, we have a few of them. This one here happens to be our smallest one. The first thing that you want to note is we should have labeled here with this red tag either front or rear. This happens to be our front projection screen, which means, as you can probably assume, you're going to have your screen set up, your projector out in front of the screen, aiming against it. I'm going to talk to you about a dead giveaway other than this label of what indicates whether a screen is front or rear projection whenever I get the screen out of the bag. So this is your screen. Let's go ahead and set that aside for just a minute. We want to keep that nice and clean while we're setting all of these up. This, because it is our smaller fast fold screen, it comes with a little less parts. The larger one, you're gonna notice it has a little bit of more of a reinforced frame, but in this case, you just have 2 leg units and then 1 frame, which is right here. There is a little bit of a quick guide setup instruction manual in here, like we try to keep with most of our gear, so if you need that to reference, it's there for you. Once the bag's empty, you can sort of set it off to the side, and now we're going to fold open our frame. So a couple things here. You kind of just, again, with most metal things that we work with, and most things in general, you don't want to force anything. These work on hinges, and it kind of just opens up like, I don't know what the best word for it is, maybe an accordion, but it hinges open, and then once these legs get straight, they do have latches that will snap into place. So now this is officially snapped into place. When you're tearing down, I'll show you guys how to do that just a little bit later. That will allow you to unhinge them. So you'll do that on all areas and let it fold out completely straight. So those are snapped in. And now we'll raise up and we'll snap each one of these sides in as well. Snapped and snapped. So now the frame is solid all around. The last thing that you will want to do is in these corner areas here, there's just another little snap that you want to push in just like that until you feel it really get reinforced. All 4 sides, over here up top, and then down here on the bottom. And that's it as far as setting up the frame. Next thing you're gonna wanna do is set it down on the ground so that you can attach our screen to it. You just wanna make sure whenever you are setting it down that you're setting it with these rivets facing up, because the other side doesn't have those, and you're gonna need those in order to attach your screen to it. All right, that is in place. So we're gonna open up our screen. I was mentioning earlier, there is a difference between your front and rear projection screens. What it comes down to, I guess, scientifically, is that one screen is made to reflect the image that you're projecting onto it. It's made with a material that is better at reflecting light. And the other is made better to absorb it. So if you can imagine projecting through the rear, it's going to hit the back of the screen's going to absorb it, and it's going to send it through to the other side where your audience is. That screen will be gray in nature. On both sides, it looks very gray. This is a front projection screen. It'd be nice if you could have 2 people. We do want to take care of our screens whenever we're working with it. So, especially with our larger screens, when you're unfolding it, it would be nice to have a second person to unfold it so you're not getting it dirty, you're not getting it scratched. Obviously, any major imperfection in it is going to be shown to the audience, and we want to avoid that as much as possible. As you can see, this is a front projection screen. It is white. It's as reflective as possible, and on the back side, it's black. So again, it's doing everything that it can to keep the light on the audience's side of the screen. So again, front projection, white, rear projection, gray. So here's how you're gonna go about this. I usually start in a corner with these snaps. You're just gonna push right down onto it, and then you'll start making your way around the screen, snapping in. You'll notice as you go that it gets harder and harder as you go to snap because that tension starts to build. That's a good thing though, because the tension is what makes the screen taut, and it makes it for a smooth surface to project against. You can see all these creases now. Those will become relatively duller as we go because of the tension here. Sometimes if you run into a bind where it starts getting difficult to get the snap in place, I'll even jump ahead to the corner and try and pull that into place. Because if you get that on there, and you got like this little hook that you can really use for leverage, then it'll just make all the other snaps that much easier to get to. Now, you do have to be careful, because with one snap and all that tension, if I were to let this go, it might snap away. So I'm gonna keep my hand and the pressure on there so that I can reinforce it with these other snaps before letting go. We are all set and ready to go. Now, the one thing that I want to note, and I should have noted it earlier, some of our screens, we actually have already run a strip of Velcro along the bottom of the screen. The point of that is that we have screen skirts that we can Velcro to the bottom. It's not on every single one of them, but just take note of that, because if you do see Velcro on one side, that is indicating that it is the bottom. And you want to put your bottom on the side of the screen that has empty holes here on the frame. That's where your legs are going to insert into. And it's only that case on one side. So in other words, if this had the Velcro on it and we were to put it up there, we would be kind of stuck, because these holes aren't present there, so we wouldn't be able to put the legs on the bottom. We'd have to switch the screen all out again. So just save yourself a little bit of time, make note of where that is, and then you should be good to go moving forward. Okay, our screen's on. Next step, we're gonna take our legs. Each one of the legs is gonna come with a nice little wing nut here that we will unscrew first. And then we're gonna go ahead and open our legs like this. Again, it's just one of our smaller screens, so it's a little less reinforced. But the beautiful thing is, if you do end up in a scenario where you're worried about wind, you're worried about some tip over, you can always weigh these legs front and back down with sandbags, however many you need in order to feel comfortable about your screen. So you're gonna wanna get both of these legs prepped and ready to go. We'll go ahead, we'll take this first leg. It's gonna slide right into this open portion on the bottom of the frame there, and then you're just gonna go through the whole of the frame here and hopefully thread through. There we go, just to bring it together. So, something that just happened a moment ago, we recognized that there's a cap that goes onto the top part of this up there, and I guess that had fallen off and it had actually gotten put onto here. So I was thrown off a little bit. Just know the way that you can recognize for sure which side is truly the bottom. The bottom side is going to be the only side that will have a hole in it that matches up with the threaded hole that's at the top of these legs. The top side of the frame will not have that hole. So in the end, if you have to remove a plastic cap to get access to that hole because it had been put in the wrong position, you guys are obviously more than welcome to do that, because it's kind of the only way to get this set up. All right, that is now in place. All right. Now we find out just how wide our space is here in the studio. So you're going to want to, in a front projection scenario, more often than not, have it as far back as possible, just so you can leave more room for your guests, especially keeping in mind that you're gonna have to have a projector station somewhere in this sort of vicinity, depending on how long or short of a throw projector you have. So that's it. Our fast fold frame, again, our smaller version of the ones that we carry. Just to give you an idea of the difference between this and the larger screens, obviously it will be a larger surface, but they're also, in the case of the larger screens, they have triangular supports on these legs that come up the back and allow you to actually raise this up higher. It's pretty neat, but for a small utilization, this is pretty good too. All right, so here's where it's nice to get a second person for this next step. Obviously, for kind of obvious reasons, you want to put the screen on when it's on the ground, because you saw how I was having to like pull and stretch. It'd be pretty hard to do that while it's standing up. But the neat thing during teardown is it's pretty simple to just peel it straight away. You're going to want to fold it in on the screen side, again, just to add an added layer of protection. This last portion just sort of works in reverse. Go ahead and take this bolt out. Set that aside right here. Take the other side out. I'm just gonna put that there. And Nick, if you want to lift that side up. Can do it. Nice. All right, and just working in reverse, we're gonna disengage these corners first. All 4 of them, you just pop them out, inside out. Nice. All right. And then with these, there are little buttons that you press in here to undo the joints here so that they can fold in on themselves. Found working, either completely horizontally first or completely vertically first is the best way to do it. It's nice not to mix them up too much. So we chose to do horizontal first, and now we'll just kind of let it collapse in on itself to do the vertical side. And then keep in mind, just with our larger fast fold screen, which I have a feeling we're going to be making a video for as well, they have just a little bit of a different joint uncoupling mechanism. Instead of like those little press buttons, it's more of like an outer purple press tab. Still very similar, but we'll get to that eventually. And let's get these back like so. And then we'll want to put that bolt just right back in there for easy storage. Do the same thing over here. We're going to show you just how to put it back in the bag. Again, a big thing that I like to do, if possible, is keep metal from touching metal. And this bag has actually been engineered with that thought in mind perfectly. They have these little fabric flaps here with the idea in mind that you separate the metal from metal. That way you're less likely to scratch. And then you put this flap on top of all of this, and that keeps the metal away from your screen bag. So it's actually pretty well thought out. Definitely dig it. Put that in like so. Zipper it up. And you're all good to go. That's it, guys. Fast fold screen with that 7K Panasonic projector. Won't always be with that projector necessarily, but just wanted to show you how those two elements worked as well. Enjoy.